In this video, we'll talk about this camera slider that is a quarter of the price of its competitors, and yet I do prefer this option over all the other ones that you can buy at the moment because of this one feature. Keep watching to find out. Hey, what's up guys, Julian from smartphonefilmmakingpro.com here, the ultimate online course about smartphone filmmaking. And today is the first time that we will talk about camera sliders. We've talked a million times about all the different gimbals, and don't worry, this still is gonna be a huge part of this channel, but we've actually never talked about other ways of moving your camera or your phone for that matter. So what actually is a camera slider? A slider is basically a rail on which you can slide your camera from left to right or from right to left. Use this to get some awesome and perfectly smooth moving shots of people or different subjects. The slider that we will be looking at today is called the Hotdog Slider from the company YC Onion. And no, this video is not sponsored. They did not tell me what I have to say. And as always, everything that you will hear throughout this video is 100% my true and honest opinion. So let's take a look at the slider. When you unbox it, you get of course the rail system itself with a 3/8 mounting screw. Ideally, you do use a ball head or a fluid head on top of it so that you can pan and tilt your camera or your phone, whatever you are using. And as you can see in the footage, I mounted a cheap fluid head on top of the slider, and with this I was using my iPhone with the SVS its rig, as well as my Canon 1DX Mark II, so basically it does not matter at all which setup you are using. I think this has like a payload of 20 kilograms, so basically it doesn't matter which setup you have. This is always gonna work. The overall build quality of the slider is really good. It feels very solid. Actually, nothing is like wobbly or basically it feels very solid. The rods, they are looking like they are carbon fiber. To be honest, I don't know if they are really carbon fiber, but yeah, overall the entire slider is pretty light. I think the heaviest part of it definitely is the motor with the Sony MPF battery. So basically the build quality is very good. But let's come back to the packaging content. Additionally to the rail, you get the cam belt, all the tools that you need to bring the slider into a working setup. And you also get the motor plus a Sony MPF battery so that you can use your shiny new slider on the go. You can buy the slider in 3 different lengths and you have the option to choose between 60, 80 and 100 centimeters, which is plenty enough in my opinion. The slider, as you can see it right now, has some built-in legs so that you can put it on a table and use it, well, as it is. And at the bottom of the slider, you also have a 3/8 mounting screw so that you can mount this setup as it is on a tripod and so that you can take it with you on the go. The setup of the slider is very simple. You just have to place the cam belt through the cog wheels, then you secure the motor with the screws that you of course get within the package, and then you can already turn it on. Press the A button and the slider is moving to the left. Confirm by pressing the wheel, and then you press the B button to move the slider to the right, and again press the wheel button to confirm the position, and now you have successfully programmed an in and an out point for your slider. And now you actually have a perfectly motorized slide from left to right and from right to left. And by turning the wheel, you can of course also change the speed of your slide. And you can also change between a one-time slide and a loop, which is extremely cool for interviews, for example. I love to use the loop mode for interviews, but more about that in a different video. And by the way, with the slider you also get an app, and with this app you can change the speed of your slide, and you can also dial in if you want a loop or not. And before I will tell you the main selling point of the slider, well, at least for me personally, as well as my experience with this slider and also with other sliders that are over $2,000, I would like to talk very briefly about Smartphone Filmmaking Pro. If you want to upgrade the quality of your smartphone videos, if your videos currently look like you shot them on a potato, you should definitely take the next 30 minutes and watch our totally free webinar. In this webinar, I share the top 5 secrets to shooting cinematic videos with your smartphone. Just click the very first link below that like button and sign up now, totally for free. But now finally, let's lift the secret about the slider. What makes it so cool and what makes it better than my $2,000 slider from Rhino? And the magic thing about this slider is this little pole that you have in the middle of the slider that you can slide up and down. And when you watch closely, you can see that the middle area where you actually mount your ball head and also where your camera is rotating, and it's rotating depending on how you place this middle section. When the slider is moving from left to right or vice versa, you can dial in the direction and also the intensity of the rotation through this middle rod. So I think this was a pretty complicated explanation, and I'm sorry for that. But what I wanted to say with all that is that you can create some truly amazing looking parallax shots with this slider. And this means that you can create these awesome shots where your foreground is always in the same spot of your frame and your background is changing. And this is called a parallax shot. I love to use these kind of shots for all my product shots, and especially also, like I said before, for interviews. You know, adding the slow but subtle movement to an interview just makes your video so much more filmic and professional looking. This just upgrades your production quality, and this brings it to a completely different level. And the truly awesome part about this feature is that this parallax tool is generated via a mechanical tool. This means the rotating part is mechanically attached to the rod, which also brings me to my bad experience with other sliders that are way more expensive. I have used the Rhino slider with the Evo Motion thing control in the past, and within less than a year, the thing that creates the rotating movements, well, it just stopped working. It just broke. I could not use it anymore. It actually never really worked perfectly. It always had some issues, and it never ran as smooth as it should have been, especially for the price. And within a year, it broke. Then the next thing is I sent it from Europe, from where I'm living, to the US, because this is a US company. And then they repaired it. Well, at least they told me they repaired it. And when they sent it back, I had to pay like $300 of customs duty. And within a year, it was broke again. And right now, actually I have it here, this thing here. And right now it's not working anymore. I can do whatever I want. It's not turning on again. So it's just broken, and this thing alone is like, I don't know, $400. And with this slider, you actually do not have this problem. And actually it's not even an option to have this problem, because like I said before, the parallax part is just attached mechanically. So as long as the slider is working, this part will always be working too. And that's just an awesome thing for me personally. And when it comes to the overall smoothness of the shots, I think this slider is just as smooth, if not smoother, than these expensive sliders. And through its design, it has less possible points of failure, which I personally really dig, because this means that if you invest into something like this, you will be able to use it for a longer period of time. Another super awesome part about the Hotdog slider is the possibility to connect this slider to a 3-axis gimbal, or vice versa. You can connect a 3-axis gimbal onto this slider. And I will be testing this with the Zhiyun Crane 2S, which basically puts away all the limitations. But this would just be too much for this video, and I'll make a separate video about this feature specifically in the coming weeks. If you guys have any specific questions about the slider, if you would like to know anything specific, like I said before, I will make a second video about it. So again, write me down the comments and I will answer them in the upcoming video, where I actually, test this combined with a 3-axis gimbal. But yeah, that's it for today. I hope you guys enjoyed it. Definitely check out the link in the description so that you can buy the slider for yourself. But yeah, that's it for today. I hope you enjoyed it, and I'll talk to you guys in the next one.